So the thinking faculty is also withdrawn, right? So when someone has some injury or hurt, there's a gross, subtle and devata. Three people are responsible for one sense. The gross senses, the subtle senses and the devata. Example, you have an eyeball. Doesn't mean you have vision. Eyeball is gross, sight. Even blind people have eyeballs. But still they can't see. Right? Don't start thinking, oh, the eye, look at blind people's eyeballs. Huh? So there's eyeball, which is a gross organ. There's a subtle organ, which is sight, vision, drishti, that capability. And third is the devata, who is in eyes, Agni or Surya, Agni. Agni is the devata. So if he gives permission, then you can see. Right? So 3 people for one organ, like that, every organ. How complex is that? Right? So some people may have an eyeball, but they may not have sight. That deity has withdrawn that power from that. Okay. Next paragraph. So first paragraph is Ashnavaram and Akayam. Next paragraph. In Brahma Samhita 5.1, what is that? Ishvara Parama Krishna. Okay. There is a similar description of the Supreme Lord, Satchit Ananda Vigraha, basically. He is described there as Satchit Ananda Vigraha, which means that he is eternal form, fully representing transcendental existence, knowledge and bliss. Okay, no confusion in that. As such, he does not require a separate body or mind, as we do in material existence. The Vedic literature clearly states that the Lord's transcendental body is completely different from ours. Thus, he is sometimes described as formless. He is described as formless because his body is different. When we say form, God has a form. So this is why most religions, they don't like to ascribe a form to God because they feel they are limiting him, right? Like I attend, at least before in Malaysia, I used to attend many interfaith dialogues. So interfaith dialogues, you have everyone from all the religions sitting there and talking. And everyone will say, do not put a form on God, you're limiting him. If you put form on God, you're limiting him. I said, if you deny his form, then you're limiting him. I say he's both. He has a form and he's unlimited. I'm not limiting him. They say that he does not have a form. To say God does not have something, that means you are limiting him. You are saying that God cannot have. Right? I didn't say God cannot have. I say God can have a form. God can be formless also. I say both. I'm yes to both. You are no to him having a form. You are limiting him by saying he cannot have a form. I said God can do everything. He said God can do anything. I said God can do anything. He said God can do anything. God can do anything. He says God can do anything. So if God chooses to come in a form of a plant, they say no. Why? You said he can do anything. Theoretically, if God says, I want to come in a form of a cow, then they're like, I know where you're going with this. Right? Then they have a quotation. They say that God will not do something which is beneath him. God will not do something which is beneath him. That means something lowly. God will not do that. Something which is lowly. He'll do something high, great. So I said, okay, God, can he come as a king? No answer. Like that, exactly. That's what they do. Okay? So by saying that he does not have a form, you are limiting him, not us. In the Brahma Samhita 5.32, we don't remember so much numbers of Brahma Samhita, but let us read ahead and try to guess it. 5.32, it is further stated that with each and every part of his body, he can do the work of other senses. We sing this every morning. Angani asya sakalen driyavriti manti pashyanti panti kalyanti chiram jaganti ananda chinmaya. I don't understand what I'm singing. Govinda Adi Purusha somehow bachami. So here, Angani Yasya Sakala Indriya Vritti. Sakala Indra Vitri. All the other Indriya Vritti. All Vritti means the inclination or the capability. one sense can perform all other actions of any other senses. Lord can eat with his hands, right? Lord can see with his mouth. So that's what the worship, when we're doing offering, we're saying that Lord, you're not just fixed, like your eyes are here and your feet are here. You can walk with your hands and you can talk with your feet. You are omnipotent. You can do anything. That's what the mantra is about. Okay. In the Shruti mantras, it is also said that although the Lord has no hands and legs like ours, he has a different type of hands and legs by which he can accept what we offer him and run faster than anything. So what Shruti mantras here are mentioned, this you may not know, these are mentioned in a few places only, in a few lectures, Prabhupada mentions. This is Shvetashvatara Upanishad, the white horse. Shveta Ashvatara Upanishad, the best of the white horses. There's a reason for all these names. Anyways, Taittiriya Upanishad is because of the Pitri bird. Taittiriya Upanishad. So there's a reason for these names. Anyways, we're not going to that. So in Shvetashvatara Upanishad is a famous verse called Apani Pado Javaho Granita Pashyatya Chakshur Sasrinotya Karana. He has no hands, he has no feet. The shloka translation, he has no hands, he has no feet, yet he is the fastest runner and he can catch anything. He has no hands, he has no feet, he can run, but he can catch also. Contradictory, na? That is Upanishad language. Okay? He is without eyes and without ears, but he sees everything and he hears everything. That means what they're trying to say? He has the senses, but not like our senses. He has hands, but not like your hands. This is what they're trying to say. And this kind of language is very common with most scriptures. Outside India. If you read any biblical scripture or any Quranic scripture, any Abrahamic literature, these are the kind of words they use. That he doesn't have a hand, but he knows everything. He doesn't like this, So people don't understand. Is he some blob or is he, like a light or what is that, They think it's figuratively. But we understand it means that he has transcendental Divya Rupam. Okay? Those who want this quotation, message me. I'll copy paste to you. Okay? Because Prabhupada just write in the Shruti mantras. What mantra? Shruti mantras are the Upanishads only. Veda mantras. These points are confirmed in the 8th mantra through the use of the words like Shukram, omnipotent. So in this paragraph, what Prabhupada is talking about? Okay, very good. What else? Think. Akayam, okay, that's more done in the last paragraph. What else you think? Look back at your list of 11 things. If you made a list. Huh? Omniscient. Omniscient, what is the Sanskrit? Kavi. Okay. Anything else you think? Paribu will come later. So I'm thinking, I could be wrong, is Avranam, that he is without reproach. Because you cannot say the Lord does not have a form. So here Prabhupada says that you cannot say that he does not have a form. He has. And he goes on to prove it. So my understanding, again I could be wrong, there could be more than one answers. This paragraph talks about two things. Avaranam, that you cannot reproach him, you cannot limit him by saying he does not have a form. You're limiting him. And it is Shukram as well, to show that he is omnipotent. That is this paragraph. Okay, everyone with me? You understand how the game is? Not a game, huh? The guessing game of paragraphs. Okay. So Shukram thread actually continues to the next paragraph as well. Let's see what else we get. The Lord's worshipable form. Found that? So Prabhupada again speaks about deity worship. The Lord's worshipable form, Archa Vigraha, which is installed in temples by authorized acharyas. So this is the Prana Pratishta process. Only the acharya can invoke the Supreme Lord. Who has realized the Lord in terms of mantra 7. Why mantra 7? Mahabhagavat. The Acharya is a Mahabhagavat who sees everything as non-different. Energy of the Lord everywhere. Okay? Mantra 7 is non-different from the original form of the Lord. The Lord's original form is that of Sri Krishna. Sri Krishna expands himself, unlimited forms, Baladev, Rama, Narasimha, Varaha, and these are one in the same, right? Similarly, the Archa Vigraha worshipped in the temple is also an expanded form of the Lord. Archa Vigraha is also an avatar. Sometimes it is called as Archa Avatar. It's called as Archa Avatar. The deity is also called as an avatar of the Lord. Harinam is also a avatar. Really? Golokera Premadana Harinama Sankirtana. So from Goloka it descended. So this is Nama avatar. Right? Kalikale Namarupe Krishna avatar. Krishna's avatar in Kali Yuga is as Nam. So Archa avatar. Bhagavatam is also called an avatar. The literary incarnation of the Lord. Right? Grantha avatar. Like this. These are all appearances of the Lord. By worshipping the Archa Vigraha, one can at once approach the Lord who accepts the service of a devotee by his omnipotent energy. We discussed this at length yesterday. Purpose of deity worship, correct? What's the purpose? To get attachment. Okay, you get purification, you get discipline. These are all like side points, but ultimately to create attachment and affection for the Lord. Example was given of mother and child. Okay, mother's service to the child. The Archa Vigraha of the Lord descends at the request of the Acharyas, holy teachers, and works exactly in the original way of the Lord. The Archa Vigraha is working like the Lord only. Can hear your prayers, accept your services, respond to you. Okay, by virtue of his omnipotence. Foolish people who have no knowledge of Ishopanishad or any other Shruti mantras, they consider the Archa Vigraha, which is worshipped by pure devotees, to be made of material elements. Isn't it? They consider just to be stone, wood, and so on. So in the Srimad Bhagavatam, there's a verse which comes that there are 8 bona fide forms of a deity. These 8 forms are considered accepted. This is Srimad Bhagavatam, 11th canto, 27th chapter, 12th verse. 11, 27, 12. 11th canto, 27th chapter, 12th verse. See? 27th chapter, 12th verse. I knew it. 11, 27, 12. Okay? Shaili darumayi lauhi lepya lekya cha shaikati manomayi manimayi pratimas ashta vidasmrta. So 8 forms of the deity. Deity can appear in stone, wood, metal, earth, paint, as in a picture, sand, and mind or jewels, jewel form. So these are all bona fide forms of the deity, these 8 forms. Not plastic and POP and whatnot, right? So these forms are like the bona fide. Then Prabhupada goes on to explain about Kanishta Adhikari, which we saw yesterday. We're going to skip that. We're going to go ahead to the next paragraph. Okay? So this paragraph talks about Shukram. The Lord is omnipotent. He can appear in his deity as well. Alright, next paragraph. Someone like to read? Whoever has the mic. Do I have the mic? The mic is on the table. Okay. You have abandoned the mic.
Gita 9.11 to 12, the Lord regrets the fallen condition of men with little knowledge who deride him, because he descends like a man into this world. Such purely informed persons do not know the omnipotence of the Lord. Thus, the Lord does not manifest himself in full to the mental speculators.
So this verse is Avjananti ma mudha. We discussed this yesterday. We won't repeat. So he just, he regrets foolish people. Next, continue.
He can be appreciated only in proportion to one's surrender to him.
Which verse? Ye yatha mam prapadyante. Okay, continuing. Let's try 11 and 12. Next.
The fallen condition of the living entities is due entirely to forgetfulness of their relationship with God.
Okay. Next paragraph, Prabhupada is going to discuss about the last line of this shloka. how the Lord has been time immemorial, been fulfilling the desires. Okay? So the next paragraph, you can read.
In this mantra, as well as in the many other Vedic mantras.
This is already a clue. Prabhupada says, in this mantra, as well as many other Vedic mantras. So our job now to find out what are the other Vedic mantras. Okay, let's read ahead and see what.
It is clearly stated that the Lord has been supplying goods to the living entities from time immemorial.
The Lord is a go down. He has been supplying goods. The Lord has been supplying goods to all of us from time immemorial. What other verse you know? This verse is saying, this verse it says in the last line that the Lord has been supplying to us since time immemorial. What other verse that says the Lord is the maintainer since time immemorial? You know this. You have heard this many places. Perfect. Perfect. Which Upanishad does that come in? Just pulling a leg. Katha Upanishad. Okay, the Katha Upanishad states Nityo Nityanam Chetas Chetanas Chetananam Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. That word, Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. He's that one person who's maintaining everything. So that shows the Lord is the maintainer. Okay. So that's what other Vedic mantras. Proper other Vedic mantras means what? Which? So this only. Eko Bahunam Yo Vidadati Kaman. Everyone's desires, everyone's needs. The Lord is fulfilling. He gives and gives and gives and forgives. We get and forget. Like that. Okay, good. Then there's an example given here. You can read ahead, bro. A living being.
Okay. A living being desires something, and the Lord supplies the object of that desire in proportion to one's qualification.
What it means, qualification?
Karma.
Huh?
Karma.
Karma, correct. In terms of one's deserve. Two things, right? Desire and deserve. You may desire, but you don't deserve it. So, Lord balances your desire and deserve and gives you. Give you an example. Person in this life, very sinful, but so much strong desire that, in my next life, I want a beautiful white body with blue eyes so that I can enjoy white body, blue eyes, beautiful existence I want. God, please give it to me. But a person doesn't have the necessary karma to get a beautiful body. So then he may be born as a cat, which has white body and blue eyes. Desire and deserve. Lord matches it. Okay? Yes.
If a man wants to be a High Court judge, he must acquire not only the necessary qualifications, but also the consent of the authority who award the title of High Court judge.
Just studying alone is not enough. So Prabhupada here gives the example of a barrister or a judge. After that you have this, this judge associations, you have to take part of it. You have some barrister. Anyone did law? No. So medical, same thing. Engineering, same thing. Just because you're in, I don't know, in India, probably same as well. Just because you're an engineering graduate does not make you an engineer. You have to register yourself with the engineering society. Is that in India? No. Oh no, really? In Malaysia it's like that. Just because you're a graduate doesn't mean you can practice. You have to register yourself with the boards of engineers Malaysia, BEM we call it. So when you're a registered engineer, then you can practice as an engineer. If not, you'll be known as a graduate engineer. You'll not be called an engineer. So similarly, medical as well. Medical has standards. Just because you're a graduated medical student does not mean you can practice medicine. You have to be authorized by the government to be a practicing doctor. So law and medicine had it long time. In my country, we have it for other professions as well. You have to be registered, then you can practice. Because studying alone is not enough, isn't it? We all know what happens in college. So here is saying that you may do it, you may study, but someone has to give you the sanction also. Then only you can do it. He gives this example of this lawyer.
The qualifications in themselves are insufficient for one to occupy the post. It must be awarded by some superior authority. Similarly, the Lord awards enjoyment to the living entities in proportion to their qualifications, but good qualifications in themselves are not sufficient to enable one to receive awards. The mercy of the Lord is also required.
Yeah. Okay, good. So, this is done, Katha. Next paragraph. Ordinarily, the living being does not know what to ask from the Lord, nor which post to seek. The living entity does not know. When the living entity comes to know his constitutional position, however, he asks to be accepted into the transcendental association of the Lord in order to render transcendental living service unto him. Isn't he pray, my Lord, please let me be a servant at your lotus feet. So many prayers come like that. Unfortunately, living beings under the influence of material nature ask for many other things, and they are described in the Bhagavad Gita 2.41 as having divided or splayed intelligence. Bahushakasya anantasya vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana bahushakaya anantasya buddhayo avyavasayinam. So splayed intelligence. You know what's the meaning splayed? Electronic engineers, you have a fiber optics cable, you splay the cable, they call it. When you split the wires like that, it's called splaying. Have you all do LAN cable? For those who did electronics and telecommunications? Nobody? LAN cable? So then you had to put that white thing in the cable so that's called splaying the cable. So you splay the cable, then you can put it. Splay is like spreading it out. So here's splayed intelligence. Everywhere. Right? Good choice of words, isn't it? This is, of course, the editors who wrote this, isn't it? Splayed intelligence. Spiritual intelligence is one, but mundane intelligence is diverse. Spiritual intelligence is one, clear, servant of the Lord. But mundane intelligence is diverse. Servant of the family, servant of the senses, servant of this, servant of the ego, servant of my country, servant of my nation, servant of my race, servant of my creed. Right? So many different kinds of splayed intelligence. In Srimad Bhagavatam 7.5.30 to 31, it is stated that those who are captivated by temporary beauties of external energy forget the real aim of life, which is to go back home, back to Godhead. Anyone knows what verse this is? Matirna Krishte Parato Swatorva. So he says that a person who, Ito Vipadyeta. So he says that a person, mind cannot be attached to Krishna if they are so much attached to matter. They forget the real goal of life. This is Prahlad Maharaj. So you can note that down. 7.5.30. Forgetting this, one tries to adjust various plans and programs, but he's like chewing what has already been chewed, which is also part of that verse. Punas. Charvita charvananam. So you can see how Prabhupada is forming the whole paragraph, just verses after verses after verses after verses. Nonetheless, the Lord is so kind that he allows the forgetful living entities to continue in this way without interference. Lord says, no problem, you want to be a white cat with blue eyes? Go ahead. Go on. Thus, in this mantra of Sri Ishopanishad, uses the very appropriate word, yatha dhaya yatha, indicating that the Lord rewards the living entities just in pursuance to their desires. Sometimes people blame, like I remember I met one man who was complaining. He had very bad habits and bad character. And when people reproach him, when people, catch him or speak ill of him, he says, why are you blaming me? Why are you blaming me? I did nothing wrong. Ask God. He made me like this. What did I do wrong? I'm just acting my nature. God has made me like this. Ask him. Why you guys are, catching fault with me? Right? What do you think? Who is to be blamed? God for making him like that? It's his desire to be like that. God is just reciprocating his desire. You wanted to be a broken pot. And then when you become a broken pot, you're asking, why can't I hold water? Right? You wanted it. Krishna said, yeah. You ask, I give, still you blame me only. Isn't it? Next line, very important. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him to do so without interference. Ja. You want to go to hell? Go. And if he wants to go back home to Godhead, the Lord helps him. Because even in a hellish life, the Jivatma becomes very happy. Third canto of Bhagavatam. This is third canto, 30th chapter, 5th verse. Yes, Purushottama Karuna bro. Lord, even the jiva in hell is happy to be in hell. He's very happy. That's his desire. Someone may say, na, who wants to go to hell? Here is what's written. If a living being wants to go to hell, the Lord allows him. Who here wants to go to hell? Yeah, there are many people. So 3rd canto, 30th chapter, 5th verse. Narakastopi deham vai puman tyaktum na ichchati. Even if the jiva gets a hellish body in hell, with hellish wives and hellish children, right? Puman tyaktum na ichchati. He doesn't want to leave. He's happy. I love the suffering. It's great. It's just like many people who go to prison. Especially for those who have been incarcerated for a long time, when they leave prison, they kind of get a deja vu, they're like attachment, no? They're like leaving home. So many times they commit crime again just to go back to jail, because they feel happy in jail, right? 3 meals a day, friends, and your own room, so to speak. And then they kind of like attach to that. So narakastopi deham vai puman tyaktum na ichchati. If I'm not mistaken, in that purport, Prabhupada gives the story of Indra becoming a pig. Indra is cursed, he becomes a hog. Brahma comes down and sees Indra with his hog wife and his piglets. And he says that, Indra, come on. You are Swarga Raja, man. You're the king of heavens. Why are you going around oing, oing, oing here and there? And Indra says, no, I'm happy in my child. No, I don't want to go back. See, go back and drink nectar. I'm happy with this nectar in the gutter. I'm happy with it. So that much stubborn the Jivatma is, that even in a hellish life, he doesn't want to let go. Right? You see, sometimes you get a lot of this experience in cities. Like if you go to Bombay, you'll see a lot of beggars. And these people have been beggars for generations. They love it. Right? Even if you pull them out, tell them, come on, I give you a nice house. No, I like my corner. I like my cardboard box. So there's begging, or there's poverty by circumstance, and there's poverty by choice. These people are poverty by choice. They love it. They like it. There are people like that who like to, live in that kind of a life. So here, even if the jiva wants to live that life, Krishna says, okay, fine with me. Go ahead. Right? Go ahead. You see, nowadays people do what is called as body mods. Body modifications, right? They have beautiful nose, they cut their nose. They have ears, they cut their ears. They split their tongue. They put in implants to get horns. Have you seen?
Yes.
You not seen? You don't want to see. Okay? So they do all that. They have very beautiful bodies, but they desire to live like a demon or look like that. They love it. So Krishna says, okay, next life you'll born some other creature which looks like that, a toad or a frog or a snake or something. Next paragraph. God is described here as Paribu. So Prabhupada says this paragraph is going to be about Paribu. What is Paribu? The greatest of all. Next word only Prabhupada writes. Right, just checking whether you're with me. Are you all on the page? You look like you're somewhere else. Paribu, comma, the greatest of all. No one is greater or equal than him. What verse is that? Or what word is that? No one is equal to or greater than him. Asama urdhva. Right? We discussed this before as well. Asama urdhva. No one equal to or no one greater than him. Other living beings are described here as beggars who ask goods from God. The Lord supplies the things the living entity desire. If the living entities were equal to the Lord in potency, if they were omnipotent and omniscient, there would be no question of begging from the Lord, even for the so-called liberation. Right? If you are God, proper defeating Mayavad here, if you are God, then why do you have to pray to God? Why you ask something from God? Right? Even when a Mayavadi gets a toothache, he says, oh God. You should say, oh me, oh I. Isn't it? They say that in a time of death, even an atheist calls out to God. Someone puts a gun to the face. God save me. Isn't it? So, okay. Then next paragraph. Only the Supreme Lord is self-sufficient. What is self-sufficient? Which word? In the 11. Swayambhu. You don't have book? Oh, you don't have book? Really? All these days you didn't have a book? You use mobile? I didn't see your mobile. Discharge, okay? You need a charger? Check, look at it. Please pay attention, huh? Because we are going quite fast and a lot we are reading also. It only saves you a lot of time if you read in class and you understand line by line. Then later when you go back and you try to read, if you even read, I don't know. Right? Do you have a class today in the evening? 3 o'clock? Nothing. So 3 hours goes in sleeping. Right? So even if you read, I mean, it's very beneficial that please pay attention, look at your books. I'm sorry for being hard. I used to teach engineering. Okay? I was a professor of engineering, so I had like 180 kids and I have this little, I catch people a lot, sorry. Stand up, what did I say just now? I do that a lot. so sometimes it comes out, please forgive me. So, okay, so self-sufficient, here is Swayambhu. When Lord Krishna appeared on earth 5,000 years ago, he displayed his full manifestation as a Supreme Personality of Godhead through various activities. So Prabhupada goes on to say, Krishna did a lot of things, in his childhood, he killed Aghasur, Bakasur, Shakatasur, which we all can see in GEV. Putana, okay, your desire. And there's no question of, so he did not get any power through any extraneous means. It's not that Krishna had to do a 4-year degree course in Godship and then he could carry the Govardhan. Isn't it? Study for 4 years, then I can live Govardhan. It's not like that. God is always God. He lifted the Govardhan without ever practicing weightlifting. Proper writes here. He didn't have to go to the gym. Going to lift Govardhan, going to lift Govardhan, going to lift Govardhan. Right? So there's a beautiful line, you can highlight that. He danced with the gopis without social restriction and without reproach. Asnavaram. Oh, not Asnavaram, sorry. Avaranam. Although the gopis approached him with paramount feelings of love, the relationship between the gopis and Krishna was worshipped even by Lord Chaitanya, who was a strict sannyasi. So it's not something sensual, not something very gross, right? To confirm that the Lord is always pure and uncontaminated. What are we talking about? Shuddham and apapa viddham. So yesterday I described this, na? Anyone like to reflect again? What is Shuddham and apapa viddham? Antiseptic, prophylactic, okay, thank you for giving the direct meaning. But you can explain further, what does Shuddham and apapa viddham mean? Yes, Shuddham, who say? I can't see. Okay, Shuddham, one who removes the sins. And apapa viddham means? Prevents or protects from contamination or becoming sinful. Shuddham means to purify you of your disease. Apapa viddham means to avoid you from becoming diseased. Right? So if a person is very fallen, he says, Krishna, please, Shuddham, purify me. Krishna says, purify. And a person who is purified but very cautious and careful of Maya, he prays to the Lord, please protect me. Apapa viddham, Papa will not touch you. Okay, so both are needed. So continue to read this. Anyway, this is what we discussed now only. Ishopanishad describes him as Shuddham, antiseptic, apapa viddham, prophylactic. Prabhupada, being the pharmacist that he is, loves this. Okay? He is antiseptic in the sense that even the impure thing can become purified just by touching him. The word prophylactic refers to the power of his association. As mentioned in Bhagavad Gita 9:30 and 31, Apichet su duracharo. A devotee may be a su durachar, very sinful person, not well behaved, Prabhupada writes. But he should be accepted as pure because he is in a right path. By practicing nicely, the Lord can purify him. This is due to the prophylactic nature of the Lord's association. The Lord is also apapa viddham because sin cannot touch him. Even if he acts in a way that appears to be sinful, such actions are all good. There is no question of his being affected by sin. Okay? Give some examples of the Lord acting not in a good way. You're going to find fault with God. I'm asking you to find fault with God. Give some examples where the Lord acted not in a very good way. Papa with them. Stealing. Krishna stole. What did he steal? He stole butter. He stole Gopi's clothes. Isn't it? Kidnapping Rukmini. Kidnapping is not good. Killing can be good also. Dancing with other people's wives. Okay? It's definitely not good. Right? What else? You guys are finding a lot of fault with Krishna, okay?
Running from battle.
Running away from battle as a Kshatriya, as a king. He ran away, okay? Ranachod. Anything else? Yeah.
He broke his promise.
Broke his promise. Which one? He said, I would not fight. He picked up a weapon. He broke the promise. Okay? What else? Lying. Krishna lied. So he has issues. Right? Like that, so on and so forth. So, still whatever Krishna does is always pure. Prabhupada gives this example. Like the sun, in this next continuing, we read here, the sun extracts moisture from so many untouchable places on this earth. The Prabhupada is being very refined. But basically, let's say if a puddle of urine and the sun evaporates it, do we say, "Chee, the sun smells"? We won't say it like that, isn't it? Sun is always pure. Sun will not stink. And the place will become pure as well. If the sun, which is a material object, is so powerful, then we can hardly begin to imagine the purifying strength of the all-powerful Lord. Shaka Chandra Nyaya. If sun is so powerful, what then Krishna, whose eyes is just the sun? Yes? So that is mantra 8. Okay, good. Everyone with me? Done? Can we put to rest 8 mantras and thus putting rest this first section? Because we're going to start a new section, which is a little more complicated. Little more. Any questions on this so far? This and this. Any questions from invocation to mantra 8? Yeah.
You said he danced with gopis and how with Avarna?
Because the Prabhupada writes that he cannot be reproached. You can't say Krishna that, hey, how can you dance with gopis? He can. He will dance with gopis. So you can't stop him. So Avarana means he cannot be reproached. The reproach means you can't say no to him. You can't stop him like that. So dancing with gopis here, the example that Prabhupada writes after only. He cannot be reproached. So that's just using the word Avarana. Yes, Prabhupada at the back.
Prabhuji, actually, could you just explain a bit more on, like, one of the qualities of Mahabhagavad is to have like a oneness vision, oneness in interest. So what is that?
What does that mean? So a Mahabhagavad sees every living being as part and parcel of Krishna. Even if he's a devotee or not a devotee. He sees the soul. He sees every creation as an energy of the Lord. He sees everything to be utilized in the service of the Lord because it belongs to the Lord. Whereas other people may see, you did Bhagavad Gita as well? So karmis, jnanis and bhaktas. 3 kinds of people. Karmis romanticize this world. Oh, beautiful beach, nice sunset, wow, mountains, it's for me to enjoy. They romanticize this world. Look at the beautiful flowers, look at the beautiful fruits. These are all for me to enjoy. They romanticize this world. Gyanis demonize this world. Mountain, Maya. River, Maya. This Maya, everything is Maya. Sit in one room. Soham, I am that. They demonize this world. Bhaktas utilize this world. Right? Mountain, Govardhan. River, Yamuna. So they utilize this world. Karmis romanticize this world. Jnanis demonize this world. But Bhaktas utilize this world. So Mahabhagavad is a devotee who sees everything in utility to the service of the Lord. So therefore they see oneness in interest. Right? So they are more encompassing, involving. Anything else on this first 8 verses before we start the next section? Yes, Prabhu. Okay? English is okay? समझ आता है? Alright? So the next section, very interesting, is going to be 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14. You can see on the board here. Something? No. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. These are called mirrored verses. Mirrored verses. Mirror. You know a mirror? When you look yourself in the mirror, who do you see? Please say yourself. When you look yourself in the mirror, who do you see? Yeah, so it's mirror. So why these are mirrors? The mic is there? You can pass it. Hare Krishna. So they are called mirror verses because they are going to mirror each other. 9 to 11 is going to talk about Vidya and Avidya. Now again, Upanishads are not going to speak to you directly. They are very paroksha, they are very indirect. Everything is contextual. If I ask you which is better, Vidya or Avidya? What do you think what Vidya is? Vidya means knowledge, Avidya means ignorance. Not here. Here, Avidya is better than Vidya. Say, what? Because the Vidya here has a different context. Vidya here has a different definition. Okay, that's why I told you this part is going to be the chunky part. Remember I told in the beginning? Okay, how can Avidya be better than Vidya? It's like, we'll see. So we'll come into that. So 9, 10, 11 and 12, 13, 14. 12, 13, 14 talks about the worship of the unmanifest. They say that the worship of the unmanifest are Sambhuti and Sambhuti. Sambhava means creator, na? Sambhavami means appear. Sambhava is worse than Asambhava. The worship of the unmanifest is better than the worship of the manifest. In what context? We'll come to it. My God. So 9 to 14, this is the middle part, which is a little googly. You know, they say it's not going to be very direct. So we have to understand the context of Vidya and Avidya. But they are mirrored verses. Why? 9th verse speaks about the definition. What is Vidya? What is Avidya? 12th verse speaks about the definition. What is Sambhuti and what is Asambhuti? Both speaks about definition. And the verses are exactly the same. Exactly the same. Just 1-2 words difference. Verse 10 and 13, exactly the same. Sanskrit. Only 1-2 word difference. If here they use Vidya, here they'll use Sambhuti. If here they use Avidya, here they'll use Asambhuti. Other than that, everything else words are same. 11 and 14, same. So they're like mirror. Context is only different. 9 and 12 give the definition. 10 and 13 give the results. If you follow Vidya, what will happen? If you follow Avidya, what will happen? 11 and 14 will say that you should know both. You should know both Vidya, Avidya. You should know both Sambhuti, Asambhuti. Both are saying the same thing. Okay? So, let's read. Prabhu, you can read them. You read 9. Okay, read 9, then you're going to read 12. You're going to read 10, then you're going to read 13. You're going to read 11, then you're going to read 14. Okay, and everyone can refer to the same thing. That's fine. You can see how they're very similar. So first read 9. Yeah, only translation.
Those who engage in the culture of nascent activities.
Nascent means ignorance. Huh? Science and nascent. Okay, anyway.
Those who engage in the culture of the nascent activities shall enter into the darkest region of the ignorance. Worse still are those engaged in the culture of so-called knowledge.
Okay. Now go to 12.
Those who are engaged in the worship of demigods enter into the darkest region of the ignorance, and still more so do the worshipper of the impersonal absolute.
Okay. So again, demigods, impersonal, knowledge. Again, they're telling the same thing. This person gets this, worse are this person. This person is like this, worse are this person. See, mantra 10.
The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience.
Different results. One result you get from avidya, another result you get from vidya. Now, what do you think the verse number 13 is going to be? One result you will get by worshipping demigods, one result you will get by worshipping impersonal. That's it.
It is said that one result is obtained by worshipping the supreme cause of all the causes, and that another result is obtained by the worshipping what is not a supreme, all this is heard from the undisturbed authorities
Sambhuti, Asambhuti, basically.
who clearly explained it.
Yeah. Okay, so like this, we see some similarities. So today, we are only going to cover the first part, 9, 10, and 11. Now, the amazing thing now, although the verses are so similar, Prabhupada writes all different purports for all the 6. Right? While reading, I was like, same thing, why are you repeating? But Prabhupada has different purports for all of this. Okay, so we are here to study the purports. So let us start with verse 9, mantra 9 first. Okay? Do you see the similarity between these 3? These 3 and that 3 sets. So when we cover these 6, then we have covered the second section. Then last day is just for our prayers, which is easy. So this first, let's look at text 9. Okay, mantra 9. Andam tamah pravishyanti ye avidyam upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya u vidyayam rata. So he already read the translation. So let's directly go into the purport. So basically, those who follow avidya, they go to hell. And those who follow so-called vidya, they go to a greater hell. So vidya here is worse than avidya. Here vidya means not real knowledge, so-called knowledge, cheating knowledge. So as we read through the purport, it will become very clear. Those who are ignorant, definitely they'll go to hell. Who are ignorant? The karmis. Those who are sense gratifiers in life. They just want to enjoy, they don't follow Shastra, ya Shastra vidyam utsrijya. Right? So they go to hell. But worse than karmis are so-called religious people. Get this picture now? Right? These are worse than karmis. Because they cheat people. Not only they go to hell, they lead people to further hell. Like yesterday I was discussing with you, a Madhyama Adhikari see 4 kinds of people. Yes? What are the 4 kinds? They see God, they see devotees, they see innocent, and the envious. I told you, what is the difference between an innocent and an envious? Those who don't know anything, innocent people, they are innocent. And what about the dvisha? Why are they envious? They already have some brainwashing, some set philosophy. Very difficult to undo that. So people who are so-called vidya, they are going to people and telling them some nonsense philosophy. And therefore they are making the balisha into dvisha. They are making the innocent people into envious people. Dangerous, na?
So, Prabhuji, these kind of people actually, innocent people actually nowadays they are converting into this Christianity. Before they were actually Hindus. But now when they convert into Christianity, so even they are not accepting anything. Like any prashadam if we give to them.
Obviously, because they are not Christian.
So
Why it's what?
why actually they are behaving like that?
Ask them, I don't know. I didn't convert.
Have you seen?
Because it's not part of the religion. Why should they accept? Prasadam, who eats prasadam? Devotees, na? They are not devotees. So why they should take prasadam?
No, if we approach them.
Yeah, why are you approaching them? If they approach you with holy water,
Unknowingly.
if they offer you holy water and bread, will you accept? What is that called? Catechism. Yeah, no. Right?
My childhood I took that water and bread also.
Haribo. Sorry, you come mercy. Purushottama Karuna. Isha Karuna. Right. So anyways, they consider it as blasphemy because you're worshipping idols and you can't accept that. It's satanic. So you convert them back. So before they become dvishas, you should approach them. So this is the dangers of so-called vidya. They are turning balishas into dvishas. Then it becomes very difficult. Understand what we are discussing here? So so-called religious people are even more dangerous. They preach a wrong philosophy. You can be God, I can be God. Or spirituality through sensualism. Some books say samadhi. Right? Spirituality through sensualism. Yeah, so they preach this kind of thing. So it gives the people a wrong philosophy in life. It spoils them throughout. Right? Someone who comes up from very strong impersonal background, very difficult to give up. Very difficult. Okay? So now let us see the purport. As we read, it will come clear. If you're not clear, please raise your hand, because this, like I told you, 9 to 14 is the chunky bit. This is where because the language and the words, very Ishopanishad language. This mantra offers a comparative study of Vidya and Avidya. Avidya or ignorance is undoubtedly dangerous, but Vidya or knowledge is even more dangerous when mistaken or misguided, when misconstrued, as they say. Misconstrued. Have you know English word? Misconstrued. When use a different meaning to it, it becomes more dangerous. This mantra of Ishopanishad is more applicable today than any time in the past. Prabhupada saying this is the current age, cutting edge mantra. Because now in this world there are a lot of fakes and false gods and whatnot. Modern civilization has advanced considerably in the field of mass education, but the result is that people are more unhappy than ever before because of the stress placed on material advancement to the exclusion of the most important part of life, spiritual aspect. So we are doing a lot of advancement, but people are more unhappy. Why? There's only one-sided advancement of avidya or ignorance, but there's no advancement of real vidya. So it's a one-sided advancement. There's just advancement in avidya. Like medical science is so great. The doctor can sit in London and do a surgery for you in India. Can you imagine? Remote online surgery. They can do online surgery. That the doctor will control here and the clippers will cut and do all over there. So much advancement is there in material science. But they do not know what is the cause of life. Okay? So, next paragraph. As far as Vidya is concerned, the first mantra is already explained very clearly that the Supreme Lord is the proprietor of everything, and that forgetfulness of this is ignorance, avidya. If you forget that God is the controller, that is ignorance. The more a man forgets the fact of life, the more he is in darkness. In this view, a godless civilization directed towards the so-called advancement of education is more dangerous than a civilization in which the masses of people are less educated. Now you have a lot of educated people, isn't it? Nowadays the amount of degree holders are more than 30 years ago. The number of degree holders nowadays are more than 30 years ago. But the number of stress and tension is even more than 30 years ago. So increase of education, increase of stress and misery. It's supposed to be the other way, education is supposed to make you better, isn't it? So Prabhupada is saying that better than you have less educated, so-called less educated people without degrees and all, than having this kind of thing. And even today's world, you see who does all the biggest scams? Educated people. Who all does the biggest theft? Scams, con jobs, exploitation, hacks and whatnot. Educated people only. Next paragraph. Of the different classes of men, karmis, jnanis and yogis, the karmis are those who engage in activities of sense gratification. These are the avidya people. In the modern civilization, 99.9% of people who are engaged in the activities of sense gratification under the flags of industrialism, economic development, altruism, political activism and so on, all these activities are more or less based on satisfaction of the senses. These are all just different forms of sense gratification. Right? These are all just different forms of avidya. Because they are excluding God consciousness. So Prabhupada is saying that 99% of this world now is sense gratifiers. But in the language of the Bhagavad Gita 7.15, Namam Duskritino Mudha. So 4 kinds of people who do not surrender to God. You remember this in your 7th chapter? Mudha, Naradama, Mayaya Pahrita Jnana, Asuram, Bhavam, Ashrita. So 4 kinds of people. So here Prabhupada continues to say, those who are gross sense gratifiers are called mudhas, asses. The ass is a symbol of stupidity. Proper rights. Why? I shared with you that day, 2 days ago. 4 kinds of animals are mentioned in Bhagavatam, isn't it? The dog, the pigs, dogs, pigs, camels, and asses. So ass is representing what? Superiority. Why? Working so hard for something which is easily available other places. Just want a little green grass. You don't have to carry, still you can eat green grass. Okay? Those who simply engage in profitless pursuit of sense gratification are worshipping avidya, according to Ishopanishad. So first line Prabhupada says this. And those who play the role of helping this sort of civilization in the name of educational advancement are actually doing more harm than those who are on the platform of gross sense gratification. They are doing more harm. Like nowadays, so people are already addicted to sense gratification. And some intelligent people come to the schools and say, oh, we need to teach children sexual education, sex ed. And they, at a young age, in India, when you all learn about this reproduction and all this? 8th standard? 8th standard, 9th standard, whatever, 8th standard. 8th standard is how old? 13 years old. So 13 years old, they start explaining about this and that and, family planning and this and that. Just put ideas in kids' heads. And they show a graph that number of children who become physically active, right? Sexually active is from 8th standard onwards. It's like when they are exposed, then they start thinking about it, but you're just given them education to back their inclination. So you're just making things worse. And the people are saying, no, this is good. They need to know. Even the people did not know, still they had more children. Now people know they have less children. Right. So sometimes in the name of education, things can be even worse. Right? So we have to think it's so-called vidya. The advancement of learning by godless people is dangerous. Oh, where did I go? Yeah. As a valuable jewel on the hood of a cobra. If you're a snake, cobra, it has a jewel on the head. Looks beautiful. People are like, wow, jewel cobra. It must be harmless. No. So educated people with no moral direction are like jeweled cobra. What is their jewel? PhD. What is their jewel? Masters. That is their jewel. But still they're a cobra. It's dangerous. It's misleading. People are attracted to jewels. Is it? Yes or no? But it's a cobra behind it. So similarly, these are false knowledge. This is what vidya here is. A cobra is decorated with a valuable jewel is more dangerous than one which is not decorated. Right? So so-called vidya is more dangerous than avidya. And we see this in many places. Nowadays so many movements are there. People say, be spiritual. Like I was sharing, spirituality through sensualism. So people say you can smoke this, you can do this, and you become spiritual. Just smoke this weed and you will feel Brahman. You want to share something? Well, depends. You see, there is a truth in it in one sense. Because there have been a lot of mistreatment of women. Like nowadays there's so much injustice in the sense of there's still injustice going on even in India. Like certain states, there is no right for education. There is child marriages, forced marriages. There is so many kind of things like women don't get equal education. So I would say feminism, to put the word as feminism use that, it's kind of an extreme word, or women's rights is a better word. Feminism is like, I don't agree with feminism. I don't agree with chauvinism. Not chauvinism? Have you heard of it? Chauvinistic, male. Right? Male dominated, everything. That's also, so these are extremes. These are both extremes, and nothing extreme can be good. But certain rights, like if you ask me, child's rights, is it good or bad? Of course it's good. Isn't it? Because they have been there is exploitation of children. Yes or no? Child labor is there in India still. It's there. Child kidnapping. So like that, women is the same thing. It's a lot of women forced into marriage, and I've seen because I've traveled around, I've seen certain places even in India, and I'm just speaking about India, it's there all over the world, right? Forced marriages and abuse. Like I see in these local villages, men beat their wives, forcefully rape their wives, marital rape. This is not right. So I think in that cases, then some rights to the women need to be given. So let's not throw the baby out with the bath water. But if someone is a little heavy on feminism, they're like, oh, no rights at all. Similarly men as well. So, what is that? Men rights with divorce laws, for example. Men has to give alimony, and sometimes the women cheat the men. They put a false claim, or they make claim that the men raped them, for example. So these kind of things. Then so men rights are also true, but I will not agree in chauvinism. It's another extreme. So I think we should be a little balanced when we approach this kind of thing. Never just throw things out immediately. Oh, it's extreme, it's out. There is some truth, because the world is a very, very messy place currently. Right? So it's going to get more messier. So I think we need to be a little cool-headed when we deal with these topics of whether it's child rights or women's rights or men's rights as well. Because everyone suffers. Like, for example, POSCO. Not POSCO. POSCO is for child. POSH. Right? So POSH Act can be misused a lot. If a lady just says that he did this to me, law sides with a woman without belief. Next thing you know, the guy is blacklisted, he can't have a job anywhere. And this happened to one boy I know, and he's blacklisted. He can't get a job anywhere now in company, because he kind of like, a girl approached him, but he said no. She felt hurt. Hell hath no fury like a woman scorned. Have you heard that saying? Hell has no fury like a woman scorned. She was very upset. She was so embarrassed. She came all the way and he said no. She put a case against him. Haribo, Nitai Gaur, Premanande. So we have to see the balance. It's very true. It's very scary on both sides actually. Everybody is a victim in Kali Yuga. Right? So no need to play any victim card. Everyone is a victim. It's okay, Prabhu? Yeah. We are talking about false philosophies, like people misleading people in the name of religion. Right? These are some beads. Chant or this mantra 3 times a day and you will get Brahman. Smoke this joint 2 times a day and you will get liberation. So these are kind of like foolish things, So we're not speaking on so much on rights, but on misleading people with false knowledge. Reading ahead, in Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya 3:11-12. This is also a famous verse. You know this, probably you have heard this, but obviously we don't remember this now. Anyone know what's Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya? Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya is a compilation of 2 stories, Dhruva Charitra and Prahlad Charitra. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, it is Prahlad's story first, then Dhruva's story. Something. It's a book, it's a compilation, Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. The rising of pure devotion. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu loved these 2 stories. These are all different verses, shlokas in Sanskrit, glorifying Prahlad Maharaj character, his whole story, Dhruva Maharaj whole story. You know that story where Dhruva Maharaj sees Vishnu and then he says that, oh, I'm just praying after broken pieces of glass. That is not in Bhagavatam. That is in Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. That verse. He says that I'm just going after, what is that? Kanchanan. Kachartam. That verse is in Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya. That's not in Bhagavatam. Okay? So here, this verse which is quoted in Hari Bhakti Sudhodaya is this famous verse you have heard in many places. Bhagavad Bhakti Heenasya Jati Shastram Jatastapa Apranasya Dehasya Mandanam Lokaranjanam. That means without devotion, without bhakti in life is as good as decorating the dead. Decorating a dead body. Right? Have you all seen when someone dies, they bathe them nicely, they dress them nicely, they decorate them with some gold, some jewelry. Before they do cremation or even burial, they decorate them nicely, they take them, and then once they put them down, they remove everything. Right? Because we don't burn with jewelry. Right? So they remove everything after that. So decoration of the dead. Or in some funeral homes in the West, for those who bury, funeral homes is a very big business. Right? When a person dies, they bring to the funeral home They dress them up, put them on the best suits, even if they have rigor mortis. Rigor mortis means when the joints become hard, and when a person dies, after a while they can't move the body, but body becomes so stiff. So they inject a chemical which weakens the muscles, muscle relaxant. Then they dress the body. After it becomes hard again. Body is. I'm not sure if you all have seen death or been around death. Someone who dies or something. Not seen? Someone who died, carried a body, or someone died in front of you. Yeah. So if you have seen, then you have experienced, then you'll understand. Body becomes very stiff, right? I've seen cremation, like burning in front of me, and how the body burns and everything burns till the end. My God, that was a realization, right? Eye socket coming out like that, fat burning down like ghee dripping in the fire, and the body curling, the feet curling. Sorry, I should go on now. Anyways. So that's why only men are allowed in the funeral place. Because it's very grotesque to see that death. So, decoration of the dead in overseas funeral homes, they put a lot of makeup, they put a lot of money, they put in, the person looks better dead than when he was alive, to be fact, They look so much better dead than their life. So much makeup and all, it's a big business. So, Mandanam Loka Ranjanam, just for the happiness of people, Loka Ranjanam, the dead body is taken on procession and dressed up. What's the point? So, Bhagavad Bhakti Hinasya. If a person doesn't have Bhagavad Bhakti, then he's as good as a walking, living dead. Living dead walking around with decorations. What is the point in that? Zombie? You guys watch apocalyptic movies, na? I'm sure. Zombies who come back from the dead. They're walking dead, they're living dead. It's the same thing like that. So, in Bhari Bhakti Suddhodaya, the advancement of education by godless people is compared to decorations of a dead body. In India and in many countries, some people follow the custom of leading a procession with a decorated dead body for the pleasure of lamenting relatives. Right? Loka Ranjanam. It happens in many cultures actually. They dance and sing before they carry the body, and it happens, na? Have you happened in your place anywhere? Coming from outside? Yeah, it happens. Person died, they give them the best offerings, they'll all sing or they'll dance or do something. Okay, the person is gone, whatever it may be. People do that. Of course, not if a person died in an awkward circumstance. Someone old age, they died, they're like, he has lived his fullest. In the same way, modern civilization is a patchwork of activities meant to cover the perpetual miseries of material existence. Okay, skipping ahead towards the last line of the paragraph. Any education, found that? Any education which does not lead to such realization must be considered avidya or nescience. And to culture such nescience means to go down to the darkest region of ignorance. So Prabhupada, all this paragraph is just establishing that avidya is bad because people do not know how they live. Now, next half of the purport, Prabhupada is going to talk about so-called vidya. Okay, so now he's going to smash all the so-called followers and religions and religious systems and all that. So according to Bhagavad Gita 2.42, which is Yam Imam Pushpitam Vacham, Vedavadarata, Partha, Vedavadarata. These are people who Vedavadarata means? They just speak the Vedas, talk about the Vedas, in a wrong way. And 7.15, these Mudas. Mistaken mundane educators are known as Vedavadarata and Mayaya Pahirta Jnana. So you studied Bhagavad Gita, you know these two definitions. Who is an example of a Mayaya Pahirta Jnana? Scientists, speculative philosophers, right, who give wrong philosophy. They may also be atheistic demons. Prabhupada says, the lowest of men. Those who are Vedavadarata pose themselves as very learned in Vedic literature, but unfortunately they are completely diverted from the purpose of the Vedas. Right? They speak big things, they call big people, I can give you this, I can give you that, God is light, God is this, they create big movement, they do worship, deity, this, all that, ultimately to come to the point that God is formless, we are equal to God. We are equal to God, meaning I am also equal to God, and therefore I am God. Worship me. That is the ultimate conclusion. That I am God, worship me. So all the followers start to worship, as guru and this guru and that guru, whatnot. Right? But unfortunately, they are completely diverted. In the Bhagavad Gita 15.15, Sarvasya Chaham Hriday, the purpose of the Veda is to know the Supreme Lord. But these Vedavada Rata men are not at all interested in the personality of Godhead. On the contrary, they are fascinated by such fruitive results as attainment of heaven. So there was a very famous guru in India. There are many, but I'm saying just one. So he wrote his own autobiography, a book about himself. And his followers and people were amazed by it. What knowledge, what spoken philosophy and wisdom. Later, when people actually read it, like someone educated actually read it, it was all Bhagavad Gita verses quoted in his own book. And people thought that it was him who was speaking all this thing. Wherever Krishna says, I am this, he wrote, I am this, like, yeah, you are fire, you are sun. Anyway, he's dead now. So now he's becoming less popular. But at the time, people were like, wow, best autobiography book I ever read. Bhagavad Gita. Plagiarism. Right? So, but he never quoted Gita. He never said once it is Gita or Krishna said. Never once. But he has thousands and millions of followers all over the world. Right? So can you imagine? Is this not a Vedavada Rata? Just totally misleading people. When they're supposed to lead people to Krishna, he's leading people using Krishna's knowledge to himself. That's not important. The Vedavada Rata is, we'll discuss after class. Right? We tend to go to the details, no? Not actually, like if there's a robbery happen, newspaper comes out, robbery happen. First thing we ask, how they rob. We want to know the details. A rape happens, how they rape. We go into the dirty details, which is not important. The lesson from the thing is important. So Bhagavatam also talks about rape. Bhagavatam also talks about theft. But Bhagavatam never goes into the dirty details. Newspaper goes into the dirty details, which spoils the mind. It makes people more thief, more rapists by reading dirty details. So always, take the subject and not the person. We have this tendency. But still, I'll tell you after class. As stated in Mantra 1, we should know that the personality of Godhead is the proprietor of everything and that we must be satisfied with our allotted portions of the necessity of life. The purpose of all Vedic literature is to awaken God consciousness. Last line of that paragraph. Ultimate purpose of all religions is to bring one back to Godhead. But, proper rights. Again, he goes on, loaded gun. These Vedavada Rata people, Prabhupada goes on, instead of realizing the purpose of the Vedas to revive the soul's lost relationship with God, they take it for granted that such side issues, attainment of heavenly pleasure, sense gratification, lust, for which causes the material bondage, and ultimate end of the Vedas. Such people misguide others by misinterpreting the Vedic literature. Sometimes they even condemn the Puranas, which are authentic Vedic explanations of laymen. So nowadays there are people who come in and they say that, there are many versions of the Ramayana, right? Do you actually know? Like nowadays in Reels, Instagram Reels and all, so many people want to become spiritual gurus. They make videos. Did you know that Sita was actually the daughter of Ravan? How many of you have heard this? You heard this. You may not believe it. I'm not asking if you believe it. How many of you have heard this? Sita is the daughter of Ravan. Right? Where does that come from?
It's from a book written by this
New Age writer, author. So actually there are many versions of the Ramayana all over the world. So from where my part of the world, which I come from, Malaysia, Indonesia, in the Indonesian version of Ramayana, Sita is the daughter of Ravan. Okay, it's just to create more masala. Like you have this serials in India, this telenovela. Yeah. So then you have suddenly some masala comes and this is your lost daughter. Everyone's like, whoa. So Ravan kidnaps Sita, very much attracted to her, only to find out that she is his daughter. Okay. But anyways, we follow Valmiki's version of Ramayana. These are all things that over time, thousands of millennia, they kind of got stretched. People had a little spice to it. So people stick on this version and say this is the truth. And so now what happens is, people start condemning the Puranas, start condemning the Shastras by saying all these kind of different things. So these are Veda Vadarata people. They are people very spiritual. There's one guy who went to jail. He's so spiritual, he went to jail. It's like a joke, no? But that guy is so spiritual, he went to jail. So anyways, so he would condemn all kinds of Vedic rituals. No Pindadan, no this, no that. He'll condemn everything. This is all wrong, this is all nonsense. Don't read Shastras, but be spiritual. Don't read Shastras, but be spiritual. How? Listen to me. So he's very famous in some northern side, Rajasthan, that side is very famous. He went to jail anyways. He killed some people or something. So Prabhupada continues to say the Veda Vadaratas give their own explanation, neglecting the authority. Then Prabhupada goes on to mention that one must follow authority. That's in the next paragraph. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master. You found that? And he quotes the Mundaka Upanishad. Which verse is that we saw before? Tat Vijnanartham Sa Gurum Eva Bigachet. So the problem is they don't have parampara. Like now there's a new age guru. New age means for the last 5 years he's been around. New age. So he mixes, take a little Sri, take a little Gaudiya, add a little Rudra, put it all together, and you have worship of Lakshmi Narayan along with Giriraj Govardhan, and have Gaur Nitai along with Lakshmi Narasimha, and why not put in little Vittal, you don't have to, we understand what we are talking about. So he does all this, and when a person tries to trace the lineage, it's like there's no lineage at all. He says, I come from here, but I kind of went there. So, and a lot of people follow it, not knowing authenticity. So mixed up, So thus they progress into the darkest regions of ignorance by misinterpreting the Vedic literatures. They fall further in ignorance than those who have no knowledge. So no knowledge is better than wrong knowledge. No knowledge is better than wrong knowledge. Because a Balisheshu is better than a Dvisha. An innocent is better than an envious. I met some people locally who got converted to Christianity. I'm very appreciative. I'm not against any religion. So I was very appreciative. I said, good, okay, you find it. What do you find? I said, they said they got so much appreciation for Christianity. I said, wonderful. I said, be a good Christian. Have you read the Bible? They said, no, I've never read the Bible. I said, okay. Do you know what is the original language of the Bible? He said, yeah, English. I said, do you know where Jesus is from? He said, America. Right? So then I just said, no problem. You see, you want to follow Christianity, nothing wrong, but actually go back to your books. Look into your books, study, understand what is all coming. Don't just hear from people. If you want to be a Christian, be a good Christian. Right? So, this is what happens then. See something? Okay. Right? So, no knowledge is better than wrong knowledge. A Balisha is better than a Dvisha. Last paragraph. The Maya Pahrita Jnanas class of men are self-made gods. Such men think themselves as God, and there's no need of worshipping any other god. They will agree to worship an ordinary man if he appears to be rich, but they'll never appreciate the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Such men, unable to recognize their own foolishness, never consider how is it God can be entrapped by Maya. Okay, so Prabhupada goes on to all the Mayavadis, shooting them, loading all the Mayavadis, So there are people like that, and these people are vegetarian, they do a lot of meditation, they're very peaceful, they will never fight, they will never use harsh words, and you look at them like so saintly, so nice. Sometimes people will say, those devotees are better than ISKCON devotees who just criticize everyone. But the reality is, it's a covered atheism. It's a covered religiosity. Right? So just, even an air hostess is very kind. Good morning, sir. Please have your seat. Can I help you? Isn't it? Even a waiter has manners. But does that mean they're a good person? So let's not just go off on the external, Right? So Prabhupada, when he came to Wardha in Maharashtra, when he came to, where are you from in Maharashtra? Aap kahan se? Maharashtra? Huh? Belgaum, okay. So in that side, in Wardha, Vidarbha side. So Prabhupada came there and he went to this Gita assembly of a very famous social worker, Vinoda Bhave. And Prabhupada came there and they had a Gita museum where all the Bhagavad Gitas were there. And all the people who had ever written commentary on Bhagavad Gita, their version of Bhagavad Gita was there. Prabhupada came and looked at it, he said, trash, throw everything. Throw everything, all useless. Keep only one book, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And local Maharashtrians, Marathi people at the time, they were like, Baapre, sadhu kahan hai? They're like, what kind of saint is this, And there was a huge issue. And Prabhupada was angry and they were saying, no, you have... See, you also wrote one, we accept, but you have to accept other people's opinion. Why I have to accept other people's opinion? Prabhupada says, I will not accept other people's opinion. I accept Krishna's opinion. And people like, you are sadhu, you are Maharaj, why are you getting angry? Why I cannot become angry? Prabhupada is going off. So that little affected our preaching. Of course, ISKCON did not grow so much in Varda for that time. People were like, who's this sadhu, comes in with a cane and just brandishes everything. But Prabhupada had to set this thing for his disciples. It's written in Giriraj Maharaj's book. I'll build you a temple when they visited Varda. Okay, we'll take a break now for 5 minutes. Please let us come back because we want to complete the other two purports as well. I left out some certain sentences here and there. You can cover that up in your own reading. Hare Krishna. But I think now, I came to India in 2012, hardly anyone knew anything. But now I think people are becoming more aware. Like I asked many of my friends, they didn't know many things. But now people know about other religions, and especially numbers of people practicing other religions are also increasing. So I think it's good to know. Let us continue mantra 10, right? Yes? So which is better, Vidya or Avidya? In the sense, if the Vidya is wrong. Of course, real Vidya is the best. So, no knowledge is better than wrong knowledge. That is text 9. Text 10. Anya devahur vidyaya Nyat ahur avidyaya Iti shushroma dhiranam Yenastat vichachakshite. Translation.
The wise have explained that one result is derived from the culture of knowledge and that a different result is obtained from the culture of nescience.
Prabhupada writes, as advised, so nice word, as advised. In chapter 13 of Bhagavad Gita, 13.8 to 12, one should culture knowledge in the following way. So you remember Bhagavad Gita 13 chapter? How many items of knowledge were there? Which Bhagavad Gita are you reading? How many items of knowledge are there? 20 items of knowledge, correct? Look at this list. How many is listed here? Oh my God, what happened? Is it 18 items of knowledge or 20 items of knowledge? 20. So that's a homework for all of you. Go back, look at it. Why, which is missing? Or should I just give the answer? You're so lazy, Okay, so these are the 20 items of knowledge which begins with amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, shantir, arjavam. You remember that? Yeah. So this list of 1 to 18 is perfect in order. First is adambitvam, amanitvam, arjavam, shantir. Perfect. Why is it only 18 and not 20? Because if you look at point 17 and 18 of this list, point 17 and 18, they have merged two things. What in Bhagavad Gita has given you 17 and 18 is just 17 here. What in Bhagavad Gita has given you 19 and 20 is just 18 here. So the last 4 points have been merged into 2 points, and therefore instead of 20 items of knowledge, they are putting here as 18 items of knowledge. Now I will not tell you what they are. I would like you to go read, and maybe tomorrow and whenever we meet again, we will, if you remember, just if you search for it yourself, you look, you read, you understand it better. I'm just giving you a hint in the right direction. Agreed? Okay? So I'll ask you, and those who cannot answer has to stand up during the whole class. Wow, you're remembering school, isn't it? You all had that punishment? Yeah. Besides all other kinds of punishment that we had. Okay. So that's why they are 18 and not 20 here. Done. Let's continue reading. Except for these, all other methods are considered to be in the category of nescience. So this is real knowledge. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur, a great acharya, maintained that all forms of material knowledge are merely external features of the illusionary energy, a maya, and that by cultivating them, one becomes no better than an ass. Where does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say this? There's a beautiful bhajan. Vidyara vilase katainu kala parama sahasa ami. You heard this bhajan? Right? Vidyara vilase. I was enjoying the vidya. So there's one sloka that comes in the bhajan. Jada vidya jata mayara bhaibava tomara bhajane bhada. It becomes an obstacle. Moha janamiya anitya samsare jiva ke kore ye gadha. Life, you have become a donkey. Right? You have become a donkey in life because of just cultivating so much of education. So it's a beautiful bhajan, Vidyara Vilase. Maybe before class you can do some bhajans next time. Okay? Next session, next class, before it begins, Avnish Prabhu will sing this Vidyara Vilase bhajan as a revision for class. As a revision of class. Chalega? Just give you some homework. Okay, so same principle is to be found here in Ishopanishad. By advancement of material knowledge, modern man is simply being converted into an ass. Right? So much education, so much struggle. I know people in Bombay. Yesterday I have one friend. So they earn around 2 lakhs a month. 2 lakhs means 200,000 rupees a month salary. And they were telling me about their friend who earns 33 lakhs a month. 4 crores a year. And I said, does that even exist? So there are some, CAs for big financial companies and all this. So they earn 33 lakhs a month. How much in dollars? A lot. 4 million rupees. Crore is million, is it? 10 million. Oh, I don't know lakhs, but let's say what billions or million. What's a million? What's 1 crore is 1 million? 10 million. So 40 million rupees a year. 40 million rupees. Still a lot, isn't it? I don't know, convert it back to whatever currency you come from. It's a lot, anyways. It's like really a lot. So, what you want to apply for? No, just kidding. So some materialistic politicians in the spiritual guise decry the present system of civilization as satanic, but unfortunately they do not care about the culture of real knowledge as it is described in Bhagavad Gita. So there are many people acting spiritual who say that, modern world is very bad, it's horrible, we need to save the earth, we need to save the rivers, we need to save the waters and all that, we need to help all these kind of things. But then they call this world as satanic, but still they're not giving people real knowledge. Right? Those who smile, you understand. So, because they're not giving the knowledge as is described in Bhagavad Gita, therefore they cannot change the satanic situation. They may complain about it. This world is going horrible, but they cannot change the situation. In the modern society, even a boy thinks himself self-sufficient and pays no respect to elderly men. Yes? It's all because of knowledge, no? A boy goes to school, studies, becomes more educated than the father, than the mother. And when the parents ask, how do you... Don't ask so much questions. You don't know. You cannot understand. Oh. Yes or no? Very good. Right? You can't understand. Then parents were like, when you could not understand, when you were a small child, I did not say that. So that happens. So in modern society, unfortunately, people are educated, but they have no values. Due to the wrong type of education being imparted in our universities, boys all over, boys here, Prabhupada is not being, gender bias, but it's just, boys here means, boys, girls, people, children, whatever you want to call it. Now, we say in Hindi, na bacche. So sometimes it's like everyone, isn't it? Kolandigal. Everyone, children. So they say boys. All over the world are giving their elders headaches. Thus, Sri Ishopanishad very strongly warns that the culture of nescience is different from that of knowledge. The universities are, so to speak, centers of nescience only. Consequently, scientists are busy discovering lethal weapons to wipe out the existence of other countries. Yeah, that is true, right? With bio warfare and everything, they're just telling how to kill each other. University students today are not given instructions in regulative principles of brahmacharya, celibate student life, nor do they have any faith in scriptural injunctions. Right? Last line. Thus, there is animosity not only in social and political fields, but in the fields of religion as well. People are fighting and killing each other. This religion, that religion. So I attend a lot of, I do a lot of programs for principals, school teachers and all. So in one recent discussion for principals, around 130 Cambridge school principals, we were discussing. They were asking that what can we do to improve culture? So 3 things are there in academia. Academics, skills and values. You have heard this? Anyone who's a teacher? Like a proper real teacher? No? So academic, skills and values. These are 3 things. Academics is all your English, science, maths, whatnot. Skills are actually, life skills. So whether you have cognitive ability, decision-making ability, teamwork, these are life skills. You have to develop that. It's a skill. Speaking skill, communication ability, right? Map making, what do you call mind map making. These are all skills. Study skills. So academics, skills and values. What are values? Character, moral. So we told that these values will never be appreciated. Why? You promote a teacher, you give incentive to the teacher based on what they teach academically and skills. You don't give them money for how much value they are imparting. Oh, the boy in your class is very obedient, you are the cause of it, take some extra money. So to the point that you do not value the teacher being a good person, valuing values, there is no value. So how to instill values? You have to put a counterweight to it. Teacher who has good students in terms of character, they will get promoted. But now, there's no certificate to it. Now you have a certificate for education, like we have engineering degrees. You can show. But did you copy during the exam? Of course. But right? So there's no certificate for value system. Now in India they have started character certificate. Have you heard of it? Character certificate. So our teachers, we run an NGO, we have teachers. Our teachers go to school, they get a character certificate from the police. That you have good character, you have not been infringed in any issues or anything like that. If you show a character certificate, then you can come to the school. That means you have no cases, it just means you have never been caught. Next paragraph. Nationalism has developed in different parts of the world due to cultivation of nescience by the general people. Nationalists, people have become my country, Indian for India for Indians, Pakistan for Pakistanis, like that. No one considers, very brilliant reflection point is, let us read this carefully, you can underline. No one considers that this tiny earth is just a lump of matter floating in immeasurable space, along with many other lumps. In comparison to the vastness of space, these material lumps are like dust particles of air. So because God has kindly made these lumps of matter complete in themselves, they are perfectly equipped with all the necessities for floating in space. The drivers of our spaceships may be very proud of their achievements, but they do not consider the supreme driver of the greater, more gigantic spaceship called planets. Who's running the planets? So actually our life is very insignificant, right? What are we fighting for? Some few feet from few acres of land. How big is creation? And how insignificant are we? Everyone dies, they get the same amount of land. 6 feet deep. 4 feet by 2 feet by something, isn't it? 6 feet by 4 feet or something. Burial plot. 6 by 3. Right? Less than 4. Okay. 6 by 3. Packed. Next paragraph. There are innumerable suns and innumerable planetary systems, infinitesimal parts and parcels of the Supreme Lord, We small creatures are trying to dominate in unlimited planets. Amazing, huh? Thus, we take repeated birth and death, generally frustrated by old age and disease. The span of human life is scheduled to be about 100 years, although it is gradually decreasing to 20 or 30 years. This will happen at the end of Kali Yuga. Bhagavatam says, people's life is around 20 years. Thanks to the culture of nescience, befooled men have created their own nations within these planets in order to grasp sense enjoyment more effectively for a few years. Such foolish people draw up various plans and render national demarcations perfectly, a task that is totally impossible. This is my land, this is my boundary. Yet for this purpose, each and every nation has become a source of anxiety for others. New country pops up, headache. Yes? Next line. More than 50% of nations' energy is devoted to defense measures. Every country has a defense budget. Prabhupada wrote this in 1969. He said 50% of a country's budget is gone into defense. How much is India's budget for defense in this year? In terms of USD is 100 billion USD. 100 billion USD is India's budget for defense. In 1969, India's budget for defense was 1.7 billion. Right? It's an increase of 62 times. India is the largest country who has increased. So I have a defense, I'll share with you all an image which ChatGPT made. Right? To be honest, I asked ChatGPT to make, I said put in an image. So they made it a beautiful image. So all countries, United States, China, Russia, India, UK, France, Germany, Japan, all of them, their 1969 budgets and their 2026 budgets. Every country has increased. United States increased 10 times. China increases 25 times. Russia 2 times. UK 13 times. 13x. France 11x. Germany 30x. Japan 20x. India 62x. So India is becoming more weaponized. Right? Is this advancement? Is it not? I don't know. So no one cares for the cultivation of real knowledge, yet people are proud of their material advancement. Ishopanishad warns us of this faulty type of education, and the Bhagavad Gita gives instruction of the development of real knowledge. This mantra states that instructions of Vidya must be acquired from a Dhira. So what is a Dhira? Sober person. Okay. So the next paragraph and all Prabhupada is going to explain that how do you get that knowledge? A Dhira is one who is not disturbed by material illusion. No one can be undisturbed unless he is spiritually realized, at which one time neither hankers nor laments. What is that? Brahma Bhuta Pasannatma Sochati Nakamshati. So Brahma Bhuta person is a Dhira. A Dhira realizes the material body and mind he has acquired through material association are but foreign elements. Therefore, simply make a best use of a bad bargain. We're going to skip the next paragraph and go to the one after that to follow regulative principles. Oh, wait. Last line of the earlier paragraph, sorry. The Dhiras have come to know. Found that? The Dhiras have come to know all these facts about God and everything by hearing from supreme authority. And they have realized this knowledge by following regulative principles. So very interesting. Dhiras know by hearing. And Dhiras realize by following. These 2 points about Dhiras. Dhiras know by hearing from superiors. And Dhiras realize. Jnana Vijnanam. Dhiras Jnana, they know by hearing, and they realize by following regulative principles. And all of this you need to point to having a guru, spiritual master. You need to hear from a spiritual master, you need to follow a spiritual master. So Dhira has these 2 things. You know by hearing, you realize by following. Right? Are we supposed to become Dhiras or not? Yes, thank you. Just checking. Okay, so then Prabhupada writes the next paragraph, one can become a Dhira 2 lines ahead, the transcendental message. One can become a dhira after that. Found that? Yes, you can underline that. One can become a dhira only by submissive hearing from a spiritual master. He gives the example of Arjuna, who became a dhira by hearing from Krishna. This is the process. And last paragraph Prabhupada writes, an adhira is one who has not undergone training of a dhira, cannot be a leader. He says like this. Okay? Right? So let's just try to recall mantra 9. What does it speak about? In essence? No knowledge is better than wrong knowledge. Then what does mantra 10 tells us? Sorry? Mantra 10, what does it tell us? Different results. Okay? Of a person who cultivates avidya, they'll get a different result. And a person who cultivates vidya, they'll get a different result. So you can't say it's the same thing. You can't say that I have a PhD in engineering, therefore I'm a polished, good person. Not necessary. Just like if I ask you, if a person sings kirtan very nice, very beautifully, attractive like anything, with all alaps and everything, is he a pure devotee?
No.
Why? May not be. Why? Because it's just his good karma that he has a good voice box. Isn't it? Not necessarily. Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur could not sing. He didn't lead much kirtan. He didn't sing very well. Right? But he loved kirtan. But he cannot lead. So, just as much as we know, if a person sings well does not mean he's a pure devotee. So, a person who is very polished, educated, deals nicely, doesn't necessarily mean he's a good person. If a person is a vegetarian, is he a good person? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. So deep, so subtle. So we don't judge by face value. So that's what Bhagavad Gita, this 10th verse is saying, that this will give you a different result, that will give you a different result. Don't try to equate both. That just because a person has some knowledge. Like if someone memorizes 12th chapter, 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, does that mean he's a devotee? Not necessarily. Okay, so two different things. Now, let us go into mantra 11. Yes? Okay, everyone? So, we'll recite. Vidyam cha vidyam, vidyam cha vidyam chayas. Tat vedho bhayam saha. Avidyaya mrityum tirtva. Vidyaya mritam ashnute. Who is the Maya?
Only one who can learn the process of nescience and that of a transcendental knowledge side by side can transcend the influence of repeated birth and death and enjoy the full blessing of immortality.
Not, there's no blessing in immorality. Okay, full blessings of immortality. That means one can amritam. They says vidyaya amritam ashnute. So here it's telling, kind of like putting forward the idea where spiritual life is also equally as important. You are advancing in material life, we are not against it, but it leads you nowhere if you don't have spiritual life. Right? We give sometimes this example that material life is like driving a car, or life is like driving a car, where material life is like the accelerator and brake. So you have a lot of degrees, you have a lot of intelligence, it's like pressing on the accelerator. It goes fast, fast, fast. But going fast without turning, spiritual life is like the wheel, steering wheel. If you go fast without steering, what will happen? Accident. So material life, you're going fast, fast, do this, do that, earn 33 lakhs a month. Right? 33 lakhs a month, it's going super fast. That's like really fast. So it's going super fast. But if you do not have the steering, so the steering capability is spiritual life. Where will you go? And someone who only has spiritual life, steering, he can satisfy himself. He will be happy, but he cannot help others. You can't give a lift to others. You come sit in my car. Sure, you have a car, great, yeah. And you're staring. You're not going anywhere. Oh, I'm sorry. Right? So you can't really help. You can help yourself, but you can't help others so much. Somehow or other, Prabhupada and his disciples, because they were Western people, so much brave, they could go to places like Africa, places like Pakistan. Brahmanand Prabhu was in Pakistan and preaching, and also it was like a good combination. Prabhupada said the blind West and the lame East. The lame Indian with the blind Western countries helping each other. The blind man and the lame man. Right? The lame man can't walk, but he can give direction. So the blind man carries the lame man. Blind man is very strong. So the Western world, they're very strong. What's another saying Prabhupada says? Preach like a bold Englishman with the heart of a Bengali mother. Courage of an Englishman and a heart of a Bengali mother. Because the English too brave. They went practically around the whole world. They went to all crossing oceans for 3-4 months and went to different countries and most corner parts of the world, right? Yeah. So both are important. Here especially it's saying that only material advancement without spiritual is not. If you have both, then you can actually live a good life, where you actually understand how the world works. So since the creation of the material world, everyone has been trying to attain permanent life, but the laws of nature are so cruel that no one has been able to avoid the hand of death. No one wants to die, nor does anyone want to become old or diseased, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
Afraid of it. But the law of nature, however, does not allow anyone immunity from old age, disease or death. Nor has the advancement of material knowledge solved the problems. Material science can discover nuclear bomb to accelerate death, but it cannot discover anything to protect from death. Correct, na? Everything nowadays, all material creations are accelerating death. Vehicles, traffic, travel, buses, plane, one shot, few hundred gone. It's all just accelerating death. Radiation, plastic food, chemical food, clothes which has plastic in it, microplastics, we talk about it now. Drink from a straw, a few years later you die. So all material advancement is just accelerating death or new ways to die. Next paragraph. Prabhupada quotes an example of a very advanced materialist. From the Puranas, we learn the activities of Hiranyakashipu, a king who was very advanced materially. And Prabhupada goes on to tell his story of how he wanted to become Amar, how he wanted to become immortal. But it's not possible. Next paragraph, Prabhupada explains, Hiranya means gold and Kashipu means soft bed. So material advancement means two things. Luxury and comforts. If you see any expensive brand, they say luxury and comfort. Yes? Luxurious and comfort. Everyone wants that. So anyone aspiring for luxury and comfort is materialistic advancement. Because spiritual life means tapasya. Yes? Should we switch off the AC? No, just kidding. Too much tapasya. Nothing goes in the head. When we started this Bhaktivedanta Vidyapit with Gaurav Darshan Bro, and when we were in the classes, that was like in the third batch, and our classes used to be held impromptu. There was no fixed place, there was no tables and all. So we would sit sometimes in the winters. We would sit in different 7 temples of Vrindavan, and some of us would bring laptops, and there's nothing to charge. We would charge, attend the class, 1.5 hours drained, take out the pen and paper. So there's no sockets around. No? We'd sit there, and we'll sit here in the sun and sit down, and very, very rustic conditions. And even in summers, we'll have classes anywhere where we could get. We'd have in the ashram, we'd have here, we'd have there. There's no place, construction is going on, people walking by, whatnot. That's how we just studied. So that was it. But then later we saw that to accommodate more people, because that was good for brahmachari, that was good for training brahmacharis who had no options. If they wanted to join the ashram, they had to sit there. Gaurav used to tell us, if you don't do this, we will not take you into the ashram. So then we had to, so that was one thing. But then to accommodate more people who are coming from different background, different walks, so then we had some facilities. Okay, so we're not against facilities, But the concept or the mentality of seeking for luxury as well as comforts is going to spoil the whole thing. Just like when you go for yatras, when you have a little struggle in your yatra, it's more memorable. The toughness, a little, the bathroom is not so great. You open a room, there's a cockroach. Happens, na? So it's just memorable. Forget about it. Think of something better. But if you go in everything first class, people tend to crib more, tend to complain more. So luxury and comforts make you more soft, nazuk, as they say. No? And some tapasya and some discipline kind of make you a little more stronger, at least in terms of character building. So kids who are very much pampered, like I go to some rich schools, 5 lakhs a year school for kids, 5th standard, 5 lakhs a year. Right? The kids are extremely pampered. One sweat comes out, teacher! Air-conditioned buses, air-conditioned houses, air-conditioned schools, air-conditioned classrooms. One sweat drips out, teacher! They have to drink the best of the best chemical-laced drinks. Right? So it's too much pampering. They can't live in the outside world. They step out, almost like, can't breathe, I'm choking. So how is that in real life then? So sometimes discipline, for education especially, you need a little simplicity. So soft bed and gold. And spiritual life is education, is it not? Whole spiritual life is education only. So a little tapasya. Of course, we're not asking people to suffer. Prabhupada goes on to mention the whole pastime of how Narsimha appeared, killed him. So we're not going to go into that. That's Narsimha Chaturdasi. Next paragraph. The whole point here, you found that? Yes?
Yes.
The whole point here is that even Hiranyakashipu, the most powerful materialist, could not become deathless by his various plans. What then can be accomplished by the tiny Hiranyakashipus of today, whose plans are thwarted, befooled, from moment to moment? Yes? So many examples are there. Rich people, powerful people who thought this, who thought that, and end up gone. Sri Ishopanishad instructs us not to make one-sided attempts to win the struggle of existence. Right? This is the main thing. Do not make one-sided attempts like, life is difficult. Let me try to improve that, improve this, improve that, increase this, increment. Right? Improve. One-sided. No, think about this side then. Some people put a hold on their bhakti. Bro, wait. Once I graduate, I get a good job, then I'll do bhakti. Not going to happen. Isn't it? So do not make one-sided attempts. Everyone is struggling hard for existence. Everyone. But the laws of material nature are so hard and fast that do not allow anyone to surpass them. In order to attain permanent life, one must be prepared to go back home, back to Godhead. Okay. So then Prabhupada in the next paragraph talks about where this knowledge is coming from, where the right knowledge is coming from. Where do you think it's coming from? Vedas. So Vedas is Upanishads, Vedanta Sutra, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, everything is given. Now if you just look in that same paragraph a little ahead, the conditioned soul has forgotten. You found that?
Yes.
The next one. The Lord has kindly delivered the above mentioned scriptures in India and other scriptures in other countries to remind the forgetful human being that his home is not here in the material world. Yes? So this is one common thing which all religions have. Whatever they may be, whatever they may believe in, everyone agrees that this is not my home. In the Bible it's mentioned, be in this world but not of this world. You're living in this world but do not become of this world. Do not become worldly. I do not belong here. You're in this world, I am here now, but do not become of this world. Do not become worldly. Make sense? Right? So everyone agrees that we have to go somewhere. We have to get out. Next paragraph. From his kingdom. Whose kingdom? God's kingdom. The personality of Godhead sends his bona fide servants to propagate the message. What you may call as acharyas, what you may call as messiahs, whatever it may be, prophets. Okay? By which one can return to Godhead. And sometimes the Lord comes himself to do this work, which we call as avatars. Since all living beings are his beloved sons, part and parcel, God is more sorry than we. Important line, God is more sorry than we ourselves to see the sufferings we are constantly undergoing in material condition. God is more pained to see the suffering of the jiva than the jiva is actually feeling suffering. We are not so, we suffer this and like it's okay, I'll overcome it. God seeing our condition, He is more pained. There's a story that comes in Bhagavatam of when Duryodhan broke his thigh, right? Bhima broke Duryodhan's thigh and he was writhing in pain. Krishna was just standing there. And it's mentioned that Krishna was feeling so hurt and pain seeing Duryodhan suffering. And then the Prabhupada writes, somewhere in first canto or something, in third canto, first canto, third canto, I forgot. I think third canto. And then there Prabhupada writes in the purport, just see, God is also feels pain. That He doesn't want to see even the worst bad person suffer. Even Duryodhan, such an evil person who did all atrocities. But when he is writhing in pain and his thigh is broken, Krishna was feeling so bad for him because ultimately he is also his son. Right? Then where are we? Yeah. The last line of that paragraph. Human life is the best opportunity for the culture of spiritual knowledge, and a human being who does not take advantage of this opportunity is called a Naradhama, the worst of the man, the lowest of human beings. Okay. So I'm going to skip the next paragraph which talks about the path of avidya. There is some reading homework for you. Next paragraph we are going, therefore the culture of vidya. Found that? Therefore the culture of vidya, real vidya, not the vidya that we are talking from text 9. Therefore the culture of vidya or real knowledge, transcendental knowledge is essential for human beings. Sense enjoyment is the disease material condition, must be restricted as far as possible. Unrestricted sense enjoyment in the bodily condition is a path of ignorance and death. Prabhupada says, unrestricted sense enjoyment, lifespan reduces. Right? A person becomes more susceptible to diseases and suffering in older age and later age. The living entities are not without spiritual senses. So, since we have talked about sense enjoyment is bad, now in this paragraph, Prabhupada is going to talk about, we are not against enjoyment, but enjoy with your spiritual senses. Enjoy with your real senses. Don't enjoy material. So this paragraph is about spiritual senses satisfaction. Spiritual senses. The activities of the material senses. You found that? Everyone is there? The activities of the material senses are perverted reflections of the activities of the original spiritual senses. Right? In his diseased condition, the spirit soul engages in material activities under material covering. Next line, very important. Real sense enjoyment is possible only when the disease of materialism is removed. If you want to really enjoy life, remove this disease of materialism, then you can enjoy life. In our pure spiritual form, free from material contamination, real enjoyment of the senses is available. Prabhupada gives an example now. A patient must regain his health before he can truly enjoy sense pleasure again. Then he goes on the next paragraph to explain about if a person has a fever, okay, normal temperature is 98.6 Fahrenheit, right? And if let's say a person has a disease, 107 degrees, so much high fever, can they enjoy? Like you can imagine your own situation when you're having a fever and someone comes to you, hey, let's have pizzas and ice cream today. You'll be like, what? Wait till tomorrow, wait till I get better. So when you're diseased, you can't enjoy. But when you're better, isn't it? Pizzas, ice creams. So similarly, if you really, now are we in a disease condition? Yes, because we have material affection, we have material attachments, we have material identification. So we're in a disease condition. How can we enjoy now? So therefore, Prabhupada is saying that first get better. First get better, then you enjoy. What happens if a diseased person tries to enjoy? It'll aggravate the disease even worse, right? So now we are in already a conditioned material state. We are diseased materially. Prabhupada calls it as skin disease, right? This bodily identification. And now if we do sense gratification more in this condition, what's going to happen? We're going to get more suffering. Then people become like animals. We degrade. So first, get better. Then enjoy. So someone may ask you, why you're following so much of rules and regulations? Just be free. It's that animals are free. We are following some routine because we need to get better. Right? Animals, they do everything freely. They don't have no rules because they're more degraded. So we realize that we are in a hospital called ISKCON, and we want to get better because so that we can do real enjoyment, because the enjoyment here is not good. Imagine a person having fever and he has lost his taste. When you have fever, sometimes you lose your taste, no? Taste buds, and then you give them the best of the best foods and everything. Will he enjoy? Externally he may be eating for strength, but he can't relish it. And when you're healthy and when you're eating, you're like, wow, this is the best, isn't it? So if you want to enjoy life, first get better. And therefore we are doing treatment in this life. For how long? Until the end of this life. Prak Sharira Vimokshanad. Bhagavad Gita, right? Prak Sharira Vimokshanad. We are taking treatment till as long as this life breath is there. We will take treatment so that when we become better, we can enjoy. But the patient is not like, patient also sits in a nice room, rings a bell, people come to serve him. Little perks are there, isn't it? So similarly, we also practicing this bhakti, still there's enjoyment in some sense, but real complete enjoyment of senses that we can experience when we are better, back in the spiritual world. Okay, so the rest of the paragraph is reading assignment. Next paragraph is important. Prabhupada's, balance, you can say. This does not mean, you found that? This does not mean, next paragraph. This does not mean that all activities for the maintenance of body should be stopped. So we are not saying that only spiritual and no material. No. We are living in a material world. Na? We have to work this body. We have to follow some rules. If you have a male body, then live like a male. If you have a female body, you have to live like a female. These are the rules of the body. It's not the rules of the soul. But this is how society works. Yes? Else if you do not follow the rules, it will be weird, isn't it? You see guys walking around with skirts. Because we're not following the rules of the body. So, see, we're not this body, we understand, but we're just following the rules of the body. So similarly, activities of the bodies cannot be stopped. There is no question of stopping activities. Just there is no question of wiping out temperature. You can't wipe out temperature. But we try to recover from the disease. Prabhupada again says, make a best use of a bad bargain. Many times he writes this. It's an appropriate expression. Okay. So how to live then in this world? Next paragraph. Human activities. Found that? Human activities diseased by a tendency towards sense gratification have to be regulated. So this is our disease state. We are not stopping the activities, we are going to regulate the activities. This is interesting. Again, Ayurveda, a point, side point. Can I take this? It's already 1:30. With your permission, 10 minutes? Okay, sorry, I'll really try to complete on time. It's just a side point. In Ayurveda, there's mentioned there are 13 Vegas of the body. There are 13 urges of the body. 13 urges. The urge to drink, the urge to eat, the urge to vomit, the urge to pass stool, pass urine, the urge for copulation. Right? These are all different urges. But some people say that these urges should not be stopped. Do everything. That's not true. If you look at the list of the 13 things, some things should not be stopped. If you stop it, you're going to get disease. For example, evacuation. Mala, Mutra, Tyagam. Right? If you control you passing urine or going evacuation, washroom, toilet, it'll cause you disease to the body. It has to be thrown out. But certain things, if you control, it's beneficial for you. Regulate. For example, eating. Eating is an urge. Hunger is an urge. But we do fasting, which regulates. And there's certain things, if you stop, it's very beneficial. Like the urge for copulation, sense gratification, procreation. If one can stop it, It's very beneficial. So just because the 13 urges are there doesn't mean that, they are urges I have to exercise everything. No. Some things you should not control. Some things you have to regulate. Some things you can stop entirely also, or regulate, whatever it may be, and it can be beneficial. Right? So these are different. This is how we should live a regulated life. There are many Ayurveda doctors nowadays, Again, I think they are the Veda Vadarata people who say that, look, it's mentioned 13 urges. How can you stop an urge? Karo, do it. Enjoy. Go on. It's natural, not natural. Right? Fasting is not natural, but doing it helps you, isn't it? Keeps the mind straight, gives you determination. Right. So, next. They have only one aim in life, these people who do not regulate. Sense gratification. You found that? Next line is important. Misguided men think that religion should be maintained because it contributes to economic development, which is required for sense gratification. People say that dharma will get you artha, which will give you kama. Right? People, why they want to be religious? So they can enjoy. There are many people like that. Certain communities are like that. They will build temples, they will do pujas and pray that no dukkam will come to me, all sukham will come to me. Right? And then, Jai Jagadish Hare. And then they'll worship the Lord, hoping, that this thing, and they'll do all kinds of pujas and fastings just so that they can enjoy. Prabhupada continues to say, just a couple of sentences ahead, Prabhupada says, a man should, found that? Just a couple of sentences ahead, a man should lead a healthy life. Found that? Yeah. A man should live a healthy life with a sound mind, just to realize vidya, real knowledge, true knowledge, which is the aim of life. So we are not against, we don't say destroy the body. How much is needed to keep the mind sane, peaceful, calm mind, healthy body? Healthy body and a calm mind is needed. This life is not meant to work hard like an ass for culturing avidya of sense gratification. Next line also important. The path of vidya is most perfectly presented in Srimad Bhagavatam, directs the human being to utilize his life to inquire about the absolute truth. The absolute truth is realized step by step as Brahman, Paramatma and Bhagavan. This whole sentence is a translation of two verses. 1.2.10 and 11. The path of Vidya is perfectly presented in Srimad Bhagavatam. Right? After that, whatever Prabhupada quotes is a translation of two shlokas. Kamasya Nendriya Priti, the Jivasa Tattva Jigyasam. Life is meant for inquiry. First canto, second chapter, 10th verse and 11th verse. Vadanti Tat Tattva Vidas also. Back to back. So you can write that quotation. Purushottama Karunapo, you want to write that quotation? Before you ask me again. When you see Srimad Bhagavatam, you found that? The path of the Vidya is most... what Srimad Bhagavatam is where? 1.2.10 and 11. That's the whole translation here. Okay, Prabhupada just doesn't simply quote like that here and there. Then Prabhupada again in this paragraph ahead tells about, we have written Nectar of Devotion. You can read that, which you will be reading in your next module. Then he quotes this verse from Bhagavatam. Tasmat ekena manasa bhagavan satvatam pati shrotavya kirtitavyascha dheya pujascha nityada. Therefore, with one pointed mind, one must worship that Supreme Lord by hearing about Him, glorifying Him, meditating Him, and worship Him always. Last line and class for today. Unless religion, economic development, and sense gratification are aimed toward the attainment of devotional service, they are all simply different forms of nescience, as Ishopanishad indicates in the following mantra. So we're not against earning money. Earn money, but use it for propagating Krishna consciousness. Isn't it? To build this temple, to build this classroom, did you not take money to buy this speaker? He took money. So someone made the money, right, and got all this available. So we're not against money, making money, but use it for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. You have a lot of knowledge, you're intelligent, use it for the advancement of Krishna consciousness. I'll be very frank with you, we run our temple like a corporation, like a company, right? We have softwares, we use AIs, we use business tools, right? We have HRM systems, just like companies outside, we run the same way. So we have our own internal management, financial systems, we use AI, we use all different kind of technologies for the service of God. And we don't mind employing the best of the best systems. So we should not think also sometimes that, because the world is moving in that direction. And by doing this now, we got so many, we have the sustainable department, sustainability as a department. So in that, we talk about preserving nature. Now, preserving nature is not an anga of bhakti, but respecting nature is. Can we preserve nature? No, we know. You can't save the world. Jayaved Maharaj says, environmentalism or cleaning up this world is like cleaning a public toilet. How much ever you clean it, it'll stink again. Fact. Right? So we know we're not going to save the world. But the progress by which we're trying to show people how to respect the environment. We're not going to solve plastic. There's no solution for pollution. Right? We know we're not going to do it. But by moving in this direction, we are bringing in so many people. So this department that we have here has internship programs. This department has, study abroad programs. We have students from different parts of the world coming to stay 2 months in GV to study, to learn about environmental. Slowly, they start attending Mangalarti. And they became devotees, So they came through Mother Nature, they approached the Father. So this also some means. Yoga is the same thing. So these are all things that we are using, especially trying to bring in different class of people, intellectual class of people, educated class of people, because they all have some vibhuti, isn't it? They all have some power given by Krishna. That Krishna should be used, that power should be used for glorification of Krishna. So like this, we end our mantra 11. Now I've written some time scale on the board. What's today's date? Today's the 8th. So we completed mantra 11. Tomorrow we will not have a class. You don't ask why for everything. Okay? I have a life. No, I'm just kidding. God, I'm so cruel. So tomorrow we will not have a class. I have this camp which I have to do some work and send off. And I tried, but it's becoming a little hectic for me. So I don't think I'll neither do this, justice to this or that. So I thought we don't have a class tomorrow. So this is the time that you do some studying. You got to study up to verse 11. Why, I'll tell you. So, someone want to write something there? No, I'm too lazy to stand. Catch it? You can write on the board? You okay? Alright. 8th is finished, mantra 11. You can write whatever you understand. No, I've already written the time there. Nada. That's right. Okay. 8th is today's class. That is done, mantra 11. I'll just speak, you write whatever you understand.
Oh no.
Oh no? You can pass it on to someone. Okay, 9th is tomorrow.